Welcome to Uncanny X-Minutes, where we bring you the comics behind the movies. I'm producer James.
And I'm Sasha.
And we are watching X-Men Days of Future Past, minutes 10 through 20.
Yes.
What happens?
Well, we've got a big old info dump. Wolverine volunteers to go back in time to stop the Sentinels, and Kitty Pryde sends his mind back to 1973.
Ooh, time travel.
Yes, real time travel.
Talk time travel. There's like a bunch of jokes when you start following a lot of X-Men stuff online, where it's like the different types of stories that happen in X-Men. Every one of them is going to say time travel.
Yeah.
It's not like they're always time traveling. It's not like Doctor Who, where the whole point of it is time travel. But boy, howdy, do we love time travel.
So much of X-Men, I will say, here's the thing. It is very useful for the kinds of stories that they're telling, right? Because the whole point of X-Men is that they are hated and feared, but they are doing the right thing for the world anyway, most of the time, we could say.
Yeah.
The X-Men in particular. Maybe not like Sabretooth, but
not mutants.
Yes.
All across the board, but yes,
X-Men.
the X-Men.
But then, like, the problem then becomes, it gets a little weird because either they're maintaining the status quo by being like good superheroes or just like whatever, or the world is always teetering on hating them completely, but it never always falls over or it like returns to the status quo.
Like
it
you're talking like in current timeline.
Yes, like in the current timeline.
Yeah.
So like if
so like look at Krakoa.
Exactly.
Like Krakoa starts off as like, look at this utopia we've created that's not utopia in the San Francisco Bay, but like an actual island that everyone's invited that's a mutant. And it ends, the fall of X is almost an apocalyptic event of itself.
Yes.
It's humans working with future robots, working with other mutants, trying to kill all mutants.
Right. And
but then status quo.
But then back to status quo.
Right.
So like to explore the stories where the X-Men have lost.
Yeah.
And then what happens after that when you are past the battle of, and you've then lost, and then now you're just like living in the worst, dare I say, the worst timeline.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Like it's like the way to explore that stuff without having to make years of a comic be that. You know what I mean?
And so that's like I would say one big chunk of where we get our time travel, because there's like there are so many time travelers in the X-Men comics, and I love it. But like one of the, I'd say like the biggest, most impactful is the person from the future trying to save the future.
Yes.
Okay, it is your Terminator, but like the good Terminator, not the bad one. But there are bad Terminators basically in this. But it's like, it is your Cable, it is your Bishop.
Your Bishop.
And
you could even argue Rachel Summers also.
I've got her in a different, but yes,
okay.
but you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, because she's, well, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Cable's weird because he is from the present, sent to the future, brought back from the future to the present.
He grew up in the future, so I think that's
so he's basically a future person.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Messiah complex storyline, they did this interesting thing where you get Hope Summers, who also has the same like vibe, where she was born here and raised in the future. And the whole point of it, like the Cable storyline, which we can go into in a separate time, is that she is either the savior of mankind or the creator of the apocalypse.
Right.
So in Cable's timeline, he believes she is who's going to save us all. And Bishop's like, no, she's the one that created my horrible timeline. And that is like the juiciest of like,
you love Messiah Complex.
But it's because of the like the future's not set in stone in the X-Men universe.
Yes.
That is Days of Future Past that we've already talked about. That is where Rachel Summers comes from, which is like, it's interesting that she comes from a future that no longer exists.
Yes.
And I guess Cable and Bishop sort of do too, but then they keep coming back to their timeline sometimes.
Also, I will say, Days of Future Past technically has split off. Totally huge random aside. Marvel's time travel and multiverse and the X-Men time travel and multiverse, while they may seem like they line up, they do not. because Days of Future Past was a time travel thing, and then like that future was not supposed to exist anymore.
Yeah.
However, it exists now as its own multiverse because they like revisit the well or whatever,
Yeah.
and like it's like kind of spins off. So like multiverse travel and time travel are almost the same thing when it comes to X-Men in a lot of cases.
I think Marvel in the like Bronze era or whatever, like the Claremont days,
Yeah,
it was cleaner.
it was.
You know, it was like Days of Future Past is, I think, a perfect example of like how time travel used to be tackled.
Yeah.
Where it was like, if we continue the path we're going, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And in order to prevent that, either we have to send someone there or they need to come back.
Right.
So like Cable and Bishop, where we need to come back, Rachel Summers came back. Kitty Pryde went forward to
Right.
make this happen. So for Days of Future Past, it was we need to send someone back in time into a body that they were in. So that Kitty Pryde doesn't exist.
Right, because it's future Kitty Pryde.
It's future Kitty Pryde
in
coming
past Kitty
to coming to
Pryde's body.
past Kitty Pryde. But since time has passed and they have more and more stories and we can't get rid of the cool things that we've created, they have now branched into a multiverse. So now anytime we talk time travel, those time travel timelines are just multiversal timelines.
With one major exception.
What's your major exception?
The major exception is all new X-Men in 2012.
That is one of the things I was going to bring up too.
Yeah.
Yes, they are but they're from the past, which usually doesn't happen. It's usually like, I feel like a lot of times it is somebody from the future coming to us, or we're going to the future.
It has happened when
It happens less often.
It definitely happens less often.
Yeah.
You were correct about that. The other thing I want to talk about, though, which is where they go to the future, is Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix in 1994. Scott Lobdell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's like
And Gene Ha. We never talk about the penciler and the artist, so I'm gonna say Gene Ha is also on that book.
So yeah, that's another one. We also have Ms. Marvel's most recent run, where she goes to like past events.
Yeah. So it's gotten less clean.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's getting cloudier and cloudier, and I love it. And that's not even, well, I've got more to talk about with other versions, but for the most part, if you're talking to people who aren't as into we're waist deep in this stuff.
We're sick.
We're
Okay.
sick people. We're so I can't even.
I knew you would know what I was talking about when I said all new X-Men 2012.
Yeah.
And you're like, I know
no,
exactly
absolutely.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Because we've also talked about it a ton on this show too,
Yeah,
where it's just
yeah.
like, it's almost like we don't want to change the past, because then we're messing with like the continuity of Marvel and the canon of Marvel. Even though we've talked about like flexible timelines, and we've talked about the fact that like when things are more important, they become more solidified in the timelines.
Yeah.
The future is always just so pliable that it's so fun.
Yeah.
You know, like we can mess with the future all we want. Like
Because you can just split it off into a multiverse.
Exactly.
And then nobody will think about it
Exactly.
anymore.
But there is also one other example of like kind of a time traveler, but it's kind of more of a multiversal thing, and that is Moira McTaggart in House of X,
Yeah.
where all of a sudden she's a mutant, and her mutant power is she can relive her timeline over and over again and make changes. So each one of those timelines technically exists in a multiverse, I believe. Like, it's most likely.
Yeah, but it's not.
Because-
It's like, I don't think it's a multi. Okay. I can't.
Because they revisit it in
Yes,
Fall of X
they
is
do.
the only reason I think it's sort of got a multiversal kick to it.
Where, yes, but they don't call it that. And they
No.
don't frame it that way at all.
But in me, it is.
Yeah. I don't think they even give them designations. They don't.
Well, I bet you someone has.
Well, they
That's the
don't in the
problem.
comic books. But yes, maybe that's what
they
it is.
do have a timeline split.
They do.
Diagrams,
They do.
but-
And I would
but
highly
but
recommend.
like 10 is like 616
Yes.
is the thing.
We should revisit those. I would be really interested into, because like that, the time travel with Moira is so weird that like it's really hard to say what, especially because we can't even get Sinister is messing around with stuff. It gets into this looping
We have talked about
situation.
that. Yeah, we have talked about
We've
all the
talked about it.
Krakoan nonsense.
It's
I will
nonsense.
say another thing I think we have talked about. This was an example of Marvel actually taking the initiative to do changing the past time travel story. Is Age of Apocalypse.
Yes.
Where Legion goes back in time and accidentally kills his father,
Yeah.
Professor X, and it causes a timeline of Age of Apocalypse. And that's where we then get more time travel. I would call them time travel characters
Yes.
of Blink and Nate Gray.
And Nate Gray. Yeah.
And Dark Beast also gets.
And Sugar Man.
And Sugar Man. Yeah, Sugar Man
Yeah.
does get thrown in there too.
He
So
does.
it's like there are characters that are almost like alternate timeline refugees.
Yes.
Because according to Blink, we'll do a whole thing about her, but like, because she's in this movie,
Yeah.
delightfully.
I love Blink.
But she was in Exiles, and they're like, your timeline is dying.
Yeah.
So like, there was a point in the early 2000s where we're like, they don't all stay, but now it's like, no, but don't they? Like, we keep
Yeah.
making stories.
We
And
have to, the Exiles ran to 2007. Okay, like it went for it was 100 issues of that. It was so good. Anyway, everybody should read that one.
yeah. So
but-
so you've got sort of these like alternate time, because that's also where you get like Old Man Logan.
Yes.
So he's coming into. I feel like both or Rachel Summers
Yeah.
from Days of Future Past. Like those are ones who kind of get. It is due to time travel, but is not like. They're not like time traveling characters like you get with Bishop and Cable,
Yes.
where it's like their whole shtick is like half their shtick is time travel.
Bishop is literally jumping around through time on purpose, like, and so is Cable, where he's chasing, like Strife and Apocalypse and whatever, and
Which makes for great characters when you're like, oh, we just want to do a Cable story. You can just do a Cable story.
yeah,
It doesn't matter. It can be in any part of his timeline. It's whatever.
I mean,
it is.
the whole thing with Kid Cable, where they like created a loop legitimately at the end of that run, which is also very good. The newest, I think it's I can't remember what year it is. Is it 2019?
Something like that.
I think
I mean,
so.
it's during the Krakoa.
It's during the Krakoa
Yeah.
era, but there's a Kid Cable run, which I think is like really, really good, and they wrap it up super well at the end. I think it's really charming, because they could just do that. And the Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, which was 1994, which we were talking about,
Yeah.
that is very similar to Days of Future Past, where they're like psionically transferred through time
Yeah.
via Rachel Summers, and like they're in different bodies and everything, and they just raise Cable. It's a very cool story for years.
And X-Men 97 season 2 hasn't come out, but it kind of feels like they're doing that.
I'd be really interested in seeing what's coming out for that. Yeah.
if you want to kind of read something that might be in that next season, that's the one to go to.
Definitely. But like that one is they're just totally taking parts of Cable's like childhood and like wrote a whole story about it, and then they did it again like 40 years later.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no end really to it. Like
No.
you could just pick Cable because he comes into X-Men so old.
Yes.
He's like an old man.
He's an
Cable.
old man, yeah.
There's so much time that you can just backfill.
I do love that, like, we're talking about all his characters, and it may seem like we keep saying Summers and Gray a lot, and it's because we do. Their entire family is just full of time traveling nonsense, and I love it.
It is a distinctive feature
Yeah.
of the Summers Gray clan, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which we had mentioned before is hilarious because Jean and Scott have not had a kid.
I know. So, well, I mean, yeah. Like,
Because their kids are future children
Or
from an
Madeline
alternate
Pryor's,
timeline. Yeah, or they're
like-
Madeline Pryors. Or
Yeah.
the two of them still have not had a kid, and I don't even want them to at this point. Another staple, I feel like, of X-Men time traveling nonsense are just villains from the future.
yeah.
That's your Strife.
yeah.
That's your Nimrod. Nimrod's one of my
Nimrod's
favorites,
the
which is
best.
just the most futuristic Sentinel that's ever existed.
It's Terminator.
It is Terminator.
It's Terminator.
It's literally
Do
Terminator.
you want to read about the Terminator, but then dress it up in X-Men? You want to read a
Nimrod.
Nimrod. Yeah. It's so good. It's so fun.
And then you got Strife. He's just a sinister clone of Cable,
Mm-hmm.
who also causes a ton of nonsense.
A potential heir of Apocalypse back in the day.
Sure. Who
Yeah.
hasn't been?
Who has it?
It's always fun when you get just like future. It's like they're trying to do stuff sooner. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna come to or you get into the time traveling nonsense and they just run into one of these people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Apocalypse is almost like he's so immortal that he almost becomes a time traveler. He just keeps popping up.
So I was sitting there and I was thinking about this a lot because like there's always so much time travel and it's always like, this is the universe where Apocalypse won. And he wins a lot. There's a lot of those actually.
He is always on the brink of winning.
He really
is what happens.
truly is. Like, and I was like, does that count? And I was like, no, because he takes the slow way.
He does.
He lives through it.
He started in Egypt.
Yes.
Once again, X-Men 97 is about to do it.
Yeah.
But he just, he takes the full road. He is pure evolution.
What is that vampire lady? She also takes
Celine?
Celine.
Yeah.
Celine takes the long road. Also, so I'm like, those are not time travelers.
Immortals.
Yes.
I mean, in a lot of future stories, you also get a lot of Wolverine. Is
Yeah.
always hanging around. A lot of Deadpool.
Yeah.
He's just like, stuff happens to them for sure, but like anytime you have a story
Hulk.
set in the future,
Which
Hulk ends up
is
usually
not an X-Men, but
but Hulk does end up being
He
there
does.
a lot.
Like these are just basically people who have like very long longevity.
Yeah.
And they manage to just take the long road basically.
Yeah.
And live through that stuff. Captain America is the other one, right? Like he was
Yeah.
frozen in ice, but now that like they've kind of changed, like he lives really long, right? Like all of the powered up people.
Any of the super soldier serum, like
Yes.
even Nick Fury for a while was
Yes.
that way,
Yes.
where it was like
Just stopped aging.
Yeah, but now we don't use him anymore.
That is not time travel though.
But it's not time
That's
travel.
taking the long way. That's
Right.
just living real long.
Right.
So you don't count.
We do have people who have like big stories that are time travel related. So I'd say like Cyclops and Jean Grey going to raise Cable is sort of a one-off. Like they
Yeah.
went and did it and they came back.
Yeah.
The OG5 coming from the past to the future was sort of a one-off, and then they went back and,
Yeah.
and they did whatever.
erased their memory so they affected nothing.
So there was a Ms. Marvel run that was like giant size X-Men annual or something like that. It was like it was her basically revisiting with Legion a bunch of big events that happened in the X-Men comics. It was kind of fun.
Cute.
It's cute and she's adorable, and I love that she's a mutant now.
Yeah, I love David Haller, so like I'm always
And
gonna
that's
be
also
down
great,
for a Legion.
right?
Yeah,
Back to Messiah Complex, we actually do the thing where we took Multiple Man and sent one of his clones to like recon into the future.
yeah,
And Layla Miller goes with him, so they're in Bishop's future, and they both get the M brand,
Yes,
and
they
they end their
do.
way back here. So
Yeah.
like, they had a whole thing. I don't know if you read Krakoan Marauders long enough, where Kitty Pryde actually goes like so far back in time. It's like the first mutants on Earth.
no, I don't think
It's
I read
like-
that all the way.
It's like millions. It's like so mind-bogglingly back in the future or like back in the past that it's
Yeah.
like I honestly couldn't even wrap my head around it.
It
But
was like a little, yeah.
I think they ended up bringing some back to the present, but it like kind of fizzled. Like I don't think they did anything with it. But
Yeah.
she's been to the future. The future her has come to past her, and current her went way back in the past
She-
with her team.
Weirdly, Kitty Pryde travels through time a lot.
Yeah. Sure does. We also have like people who have sort of either powers that are around time or technology that's like Bishop and Cable, like we said, they time slide all the time.
Yeah,
Like if you need someone to time slide, those are the guys you actually talk to.
Forge also.
Forge has the capabilities to make something.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably is the one that fixed it
he
at some
makes
point.
the
Yeah.
Bishop stuff. But
You've got Legion can just do it.
yes,
One of his powers is going back in time because he has a legion of powers.
I feel like there are two different ways of time travel. It's the
Yeah.
tech stuff.
Yeah.
It's your Nimrods, that's your Cables, that's your
Yeah.
Bishops. And then there's like the weirdo psychics. That's your Rachel Summers,
right.
that's your Legions, that's your Phoenix Forces. Like
But you also have there's two X-Men that like manipulate time, and they've used it in weird ways, and that's Tempo and Tempest. So Tempest,
distinctly different
they're
listeners.
distinctly different people. Now I got to see if I can remember the difference
the
between
difference
the two.
between Tempo and
Because
Tempest.
I believe Tempo was she's been around for a while. And she's like usually head to gold, like in a gold outfit, and she just can like change the flow. Actually, they both can kind of change the flow of time.
Change the flow of time.
Tempest was like during the Bender run where the school of Jean Grey was like Wolverine and the X-Men and
Yeah.
Uncanny X-Men were going on at the same time. She was like an Australian. She's one of the 5 that has created the Resurrection Protocol.
Yes.
Like she is the reason that the eggs can grow to adulthood.
Yeah.
She manipulates time in that way. And I feel like they've used both their powers for different ways. Like I think tempo was the reason that Rachel Summers and Professor X, like during the fall of X, could keep a bubble of time outside of time.
Yeah. They don't like they're less sending people and moving around
Yeah.
as more controlling it like hyper locally. I
Right.
think is the difference between them, which I guess is kind of time travel,
Yeah.
but not in the way that we're really, and not in the way in this movie.
Right,
really.
right. Oh no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie using Kitty Pryde to send people back is not how any of the comics have ever done it.
Yeah.
It's always Rachel Summers.
Because this is a Phoenix psychic.
Yes.
Summers Gray situation, and and the comic books know that.
Yeah.
Because you can really explain a lot of things with the Phoenix Force. And I will say that this follows Rachel Summers around. When she's on Excalibur, Excalibur goes through time a lot.
Didn't they
actually.
have the cross time caper? Isn't that
They
one of the
did.
storylines? I
Yes,
didn't read
they
that one,
did.
but I know
yeah,
of it.
it's like it's got some bad stuff. Not bad stuff because it's like there's like a whole universe where it's about Nazis. You know, sometimes during that era, they're just a little too literal,
Yeah.
and you're like, hey,
Hey,
maybe we
sometimes
handle
we
this
need
slightly differently.
Sometimes we need a bit a little more literal, I guess. You know.
Maybe a little less literal, but like
Uh-huh.
But I will say that like Excalibur, then even after she leaves in New Excalibur, they have one of the major crossovers with Exiles at the end
Yeah.
of like the 2007, like that the end of that run of that whole book, and New Excalibur's in there, and they're talking to each other, and like they're used to the time travel.
Excalibur, for the most part, was all multiverse.
Yes,
travel, but
which is
like-
different,
Right.
Yes.
And so same with the Exiles.
yeah.
It's like, but Exiles also had it almost felt like a Doctor Who thing where it was like time and space. Like,
Yes.
it's like they jump around in the multiverse, but also sometimes they're in our timeline. And then,
I actually wrote them down, and I had a whole argument as to why Exiles count. And
Yeah.
Exiles count because they dip in and out multiple times during that run in the 616 at different time
and that's what I
periods.
mean.
They
Like,
will come to the most recent 616, which is at the end where they have that crossover with New Excalibur, and then earlier on they literally dip into the 616 to watch the fight on the moon with the Phoenix and
Right.
Jean Grey.
Right.
And you're like, and this is the same group of people. Not Blink is there, so
Yeah.
let's just say that.
yeah, Blink is there.
Blink is there. So like to me, I'm like that counts because they have access to all of the time points in the 616.
Right.
They also have access to the other multiverse, but that just means they're cool. That doesn't mean that they're not time traveling.
They're also not like, if you ever read the Exiles, it's not them deciding.
That
It's like
is
a
true.
quantum leap situation
It
where
is.
they solve the problem and then they leap to the next situation that like somebody is doing.
Yeah, which
That's
is
always
a
part of the
major
mystery.
plot point.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, who's that? I don't know. I mean, so it is in Quantum Leap too. So it's all the same. There was during the OG5 being in the current timeline was Battle of the Atom,
Yes.
where a future X-Men team came into the current timeline, and it was like Molly Hayes from the Runaways and like Professor X's kid. It's supposed to be like Professor X Jr. essentially.
Yeah.
An old Kitty Pryde. Zorn is there, but then it turns out that like most of them. Oh, and Beast, like a more bestial Beast, is also there, and it turns out that like most of those are not who they say they are,
Right. Yeah.
and it ends up being more of a brotherhood of evil
evil
mutants
mutants,
situation instead of an X-Men, and that's kind of fun. But it plays on all of these tropes of like of everything we've been saying, like.
Right.
X-Men travel from a future? Yeah, absolutely happens. It's now old hat.
Yeah,
like if you say you are, probably like
They're not surprised anymore if a future person slides in.
they
Like,
had the OG5 hanging out. So yeah, why not have the future ones there too? Why don't we have 3 sets of X-Men here?
Yeah. And it was just so funny, just to like briefly touch on this, because that 2012 run, the all new X-Men, which they bring the OG 5 into at that point, the current 616, they like very distinctly have to like explain that this time travel that is happening with these 5 is distinctly different than every other time travel that has ever happened in X-Men. There's literally like a page dedicated with Beast talking about it because they were like, okay, none of those rules apply. It's a complete circle. If they change something in the present, it's not going to split off. We're going to disappear. Like there's stakes for it in that and trying to like maintain that. And that's like why the conclusion is that nobody remembers because you have to maintain the time periods. But it's actually like that is the truest form of time travel, I think, where it's like
a closed loop time travel.
Closed loop where it's like if you mess this up and they die in the future, you are also in the future yourself is going to die because you disappear. Though technically Legion Quest did that too. Which is right before Age of Apocalypse.
And like it's funny because it was smart to do the OG5 because if you ever go back and read like Silver Age comics like that, the world's so small.
Yeah.
And it's so less complicated. And so just picking up these baby X-Men and bringing them in, it's just like, oh, this is nice. Like we don't have to worry about all this canon nonsense. Like they barely know people. Like we don't have to worry about it. And then you get people like would you count? It's tough though because some people are just like caught in weird time dilations, like Magic.
Okay,
went to limbo as a child and came back as a teenager, and like no time flat.
Don't think that's time travel.
You don't count that as time travel.
I don't count that as time travel.
What about like any Mojoverse stuff? Because like anybody that goes to Mojo World, sometimes time gets weird and like people change and then they come back, they're a different person and time really hasn't changed that much.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong for thinking about it this way, but I did think about Magic and in my head I automatically went, that doesn't count. I did think about it.
Yeah, it's fine. You don't have to accept it.
I want to think it through because I don't know why. Because it feels different, but I don't think I've like 100% logicked myself into the situation. So let's discuss very briefly.
Sure.
I feel like it's like, okay, if it's like going to a place and like time is different or whatever, like you could go somewhere and like for example, when you fly across time zones, is that time travel? I would say no. So like
no, because it's still the same amount of time. I think of it more of like a lesser version of like Cable or Hope. Like if you're in the 616 normal timeline, Hope left and a couple years later she came back as an 18-year-old, but only like a year had passed because she spent 18 years in the future. The only difference is time moves different there. So like it's not like she went through time. She didn't go into the future and aged and came back. She went like it's like she took a step to the side and that moved faster, and when she came back it hadn't caught up to her yet. You know what I mean?
I feel like she's still going to a future though, and that's the time travel part for me. It's less about her aging, to be quite honest.
Okay.
Because like
I think it's more that she spent more time she spent more years there, so it kind of is its own time travel in my head.
I get what you're saying. I think this is fair.
Limbo also has like not done that ever again.
Yeah.
Or like barely have. I'm sure they have done it again, but like it's not, when they go to Limbo, we're not worried about that.
Yeah, it is like, to me it's almost like, okay, well, like there are like we have planets in our solar system that have different day-night cycles, and then theoretically you could like, but I guess your body is still would age.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the amount of time, the perception of time being like going through time zones. You don't lose an hour.
Right.
You don't gain an hour. Like you just you read the clock differently.
But on a different planet, you technically would lose it. But then that's still not. I don't think that counts either, because like that's really space travel.
I was gonna say, I think you'd have to. The only other way that I can think of is like when you're moving almost at the speed of light, where time is relative.
Yeah.
And like to you, you know, a little bit of time has passed, but it's like watching Interstellar.
Yeah.
You know, like it's time travel, but in a really bad way.
I guess it's the less fun version
Oh,
of it.
no, it's the one you don't want.
Right.
Right? You don't want to come back and go, wait, you guys didn't age and I did? That sucks.
I feel like this is I feel like I'm applying the same rules to Apocalypse here. It's like, if you had to take the long way, I almost feel like that doesn't count.
Well, 'cause it doesn't. Like, he's not a time traveler. He just gets caught up in time traveler nonsense.
And time traveler nonsense. Because a lot of people, he wins a lot, and so there's a lot of time travelers got to fix it.
Yeah.
He's really the time traveler attractor. Like, he's kind of like the bug zapper for time travelers.
Sure. He's the lightning rod
Mhm, that's better. I like that one.
for time travelers.
Yeah, because he's usually one that's getting cooked.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he gets struck a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll probably go into more detail about some of these people, like Blink, Bishop, Cable.
We're going to talk about
We're going to talk about. I mean, all of Deadpool 2 is about time travel.
Yeah.
And we still have time travel in this movie.
I can't wait for Deadpool 2 because I just want to talk about. I just get to. It's basically an X-Force movie, and I'm like,
it is. You're not wrong. We'll get there. All right. Well, that's it for this week. I'm producer James,
and I'm Sasha,
and we'll see you for the next 10.